Yeah, that's a non-token creature. Yep. I think the interaction is as I think. Yeah, we'll get it back. That's so weird. Like, Bangbuster is not a creature, but it is a creature. When he casts everything from his hand and he stops decking, we probably do farewell, but until then we can, you know, continue. Hello everyone, it's Sloth, and today we have Orzhov. Yes, Orzhov. Is this the answer to the mono black that has been plaguing the full ladder, the full forums? And I know how most of the people feel about mono black. I don't share this sentiment, unfortunately, because I really like black color. But still, this deck is definitely a pain for most of the players that do ladder, and I think Orzhov might be the answer. And let's check the stats. This is a stat block, right? So that's what you are here for. So we played against black decks that, you know, Rakdos is basically mono black with some red cards. Let's be honest, it's mono black as well. That's the only part that is strong there. And we played against black decks 4 times basically. We won all of them. And it was in a pretty decisive fashion most of the time. Like, in some games we even didn't go for like real answers. We just, you know, went it very lightly to bait enemy into playing more, and they just scooped because they were so outplaced and outvalued with our deck that we didn't even go for like the big plan. The small plan was enough. So this definitely seems to be the very, very good answer, and this is in line with what I've been reading from mono black players that do complain how Orzhov demolishes them in like 80% win rate. So that would seem exactly on point. With that being said, let's see what makes the deck so great against mono black, and let's see the intro, the actual non-stat intro. Hi, it's the rambling Sloth again from the deck intro. So basically, this deck has everything that mono black hates. We have exile effect, we have very good creatures, but most of all, we have wedding announcement. This is one of the key cards that just annoys every mono black player so much, because they do have a lot of sacrifice effect. They have Invoke Despair, they have Liliana. All of those effects go card for card, and they also like don't let you choose which creature is sacrificed. So as long as you have 1/1 token, all of your other creatures are safe. What more, this card actually produces them for free every single turn. So even if they can answer on curve one of the sacrifice effects to negate first white human creature token, it means that the next turn you pressure them with another one, and you then make a real play, and they cannot answer so many threats every single turn. They usually can answer 1, maybe 2 if they are like absolutely perfect, but generally they don't. And this is one of the big cards. For the same reason we have Edgar. Edgar seems to be resurrected. That's funny, because he's a vampire. He actually seems to be resurrected into meta, because generally he was very slow, but honestly, this is a card that just loves dying. I even had games when I had this and a 1/1 soldier token, and I wanted to sacrifice Edgar because he's so much better dead or alive. Sorry, Edgar. I know you are great, lord, noble, whatever. You are better dead than alive. Because against mono black, creating at the upkeep, life-linking vampire creature token that you can sacrifice, and it gets buffed from the wedding announcement. Like, Edgar together with wedding announcement creates so much like mess on the board that mono black cannot keep up with it. Their only choice is Midhook Massacre, and you can play around it because, for example, this has 4 toughness. All the anthems make all your creatures stronger. Trespasser in the night mode with Anthem has 5 toughness. They need 7 mana to answer this single creature. If you play it smart, and believe me, watch the games, because in some mono black players, like, we outplay them so hard, they would win the game if we didn't know exactly what they are up to. So if you are struggling against mono black, definitely watch this game, because you can learn a lot how exactly to counterplay and make every play for their side very messy, because Invoke Despair is the big card you need to be careful of, and it has a very specific mechanic how it works. So if you play it smart, they just don't get any value. And drawing cards from this is more important than you might think at the first sight. If you just traded 3 for 1, and one of them being used wedding announcement that already gave you all the value, one being a 1/1 creature and one being Liliana with 1 loyalty after she killed a creature, they don't get a lot of value with the Invoke Despair, and they really count on this to reload their hand, because usually this is like one of the last 2 cards they play. If they don't get a draw, they are basically top decking, and your cards are extremely powerful. We also have a lot of engines in this deck. Bankbuster means that you always win the value game, basically. Tenacious Underdog, if unanswered, creates infinite card advantage for you as long as you have HP, and we have lifelinkers in this deck, so we have HP. Like Liesa. Liesa is basically, if they cannot answer this single card, they cannot win, especially with the lifelink. You can keep attacking for 4, killing their planewalkers, and just pressuring while the rest of the cards, like Tenacious Underdogs, Edgars, whatever, just block and give you time, and you have a lot of cards that can get back. And don't forget, this is a very fun interaction, but it's incredibly powerful if you can use it, and you will see it in the games used. So watch the games. Liesa, Forgotten and Archangel, gets you back every creature that died. It has to die as a creature, it doesn't really have to be a creature. Hi, Bankbuster. You can create a creature out of this and then let it die. And what it does, at the end step, you get it back to your hand with full charges. You can basically make infinite draw engine out of those 2 cards, and what's worse, your opponent cannot really attack, because you actually will block in the way that makes Bankbuster kill, because you want to see it in the graveyard. Of course, it will go back to your hand. So Liesa is insane in this deck. The only reason we play 1 is because, it dies to Invoke Despair. You need to, you cannot get hand clogged with Liesas. It's not this kind of deck, but it's perfect one-off that when you draw it, completely transforms the game in your favor, and when you don't, your deck is amazing as well. So very, very good addition. We also have Farewell with the funny art. I bought it for this video because I found that mono black hit by such an art, it will hurt them even more. Not sure if it worked out. So definitely double Farewell for exile effect, resetting the board, and most importantly, sometimes against some decks you can make a one-sided sweeper, which is extremely important. And even like with Edgar, things like this, when you have this coffin, you Farewell and you get even the token and the Edgar. You can even time it out. When Edgar will come back next turn with the last token, you can then Farewell, and basically at the upkeep you are getting 5/5 or 6/6 in the stats, and then you untap. So you can time those plays very nicely, and Farewell is perfect answer to everything. What do we have more? Like, we have standard. Wandering Emperor is a big addition. Mono Black does not have access to the Emperor, and this is incredibly big deal. Like, casting at the end step is like complete game changer, and it also really accompanies the Invoke Despair from your opponent. This basically covers 2/3 of Despair on its own, 4 mana play. And Despair, as we discussed, is the most important card in their deck. Without it, they don't go endgame as well as they usually do. So you can even sometimes cast it just as an answer to Invoke Despair. If you have like one wedding announcement lying there used with +1/+1, cast the Emperor. Give them the full value, and suddenly they don't draw a single card. And then you go with Edgar or Liesa or Sorin, and suddenly they have no answers to anything because they never drew cards. So this deck seems extremely powerful against Mono Black, and from what I know about the current status, it seems to be really the case. Like, I've been seeing Mono Black players complaining, imagine that, complaining that they get absolutely wrecked by Orzhov because of the tokens mostly, so Wedding Announcement and Edgar, because that's exactly what they cannot handle. They have very good removal, but it's not targeted. So that's why we made the full deck that punishes untargeted removal with so many tokens that they just like Liliana is -2, destroy a 1/1 token. Doesn't sound so great. And we also have Liliana, so against any kind of longer game, we can make sure that our opponent is top decking and we aren't. We have Bankbusters, we also have Invoke Despair, so we are toe-to-toe with opponent draws. And don't forget, you can draw a lot of cards with Wedding Announcement, so sometimes you want to do it, and with Sorin. So very often you will keep discarding and you will be left with like 3-4 cards and your opponent with 0. And at this point, if you have also an advantage in board, what can they do? Even the best cards from their deck doesn't cut it, and usually you need to remember best draws is Invoke Despair or Midhook Massacre. If you are resistant to those 2 cards, you will win the game. And that's how you want to play. Definitely check the video if you are struggling against Mono Black. I think we had really good showcases how to counter some of the plays from our opponents. And they definitely didn't like it. We got some rage quit from them. So I think that we are doing a very good job. Okay, with that being said, if you don't like the meta and you want to fight it with our channel, don't forget to subscribe. We are trying to make our best to not go into the meta and try to find some cool decks that also have a good chance or even are dominating top decks. So definitely do subscribe if you like this kind of content. We are doing it daily. Always. And thank you for anyone who waited until this with the intro. I hope you enjoyed the explanation. I think the deck is really interesting. I had a blast playing with this one. I'm not the type of Orzhov player usually, but this deck was really fun and it felt like control. It's more of a mid-range, but it definitely felt like, you know, this control vibe with drawing cards, discarding opponent hands, playing Emperor and Invoke Despairs when they least expect it. And man, Farewell is just your emergency. Whatever goes wrong, you can always farewell, as long as they don't have Planewalkers. But you are so aggressive on the board and you even have flying creatures that you don't care about Planewalkers as much. So, thank you for your time and enjoy the games. Alright, we are going first. Well, you'll have to see Wedding Announcement every single time. And Bankbuster is pretty much win-win, because we start. We have less cards, but we have more tempo. But at the same time with Bankbuster we have also more cards. So that's why I like going first. It's always so great. Okay, it's enough, guys. Chill. Like, it's not a bad draw, to be fair, but it's super slow, so we definitely need to get back some tempo. Especially that we... Oh, okay. So in this case, second Bankbuster is amazingly good. However, this is what we go for. This is the better play. Wedding Announcement is incredibly strong, because you need a slow turn to play it, but every single turn later is just way better than normally. He thinks he will block. Huh. Amateur. Of course he cannot attack because it's not blitzed, and I knew about it. He could use the Bankbuster, he missed 4 damage here. Yeah, and he cannot draw the card, so no point. Unless he wants to cut down. It might be the case, actually. It's kinda weird, but I guess it's the case. So, let's draw some cards, shall we? He should tap the Sanctum. We don't have double black, double white. Oh, okay, that's an interesting card. But you know what? We don't have a lot of removal. I think we can take some damage just to get the setup. I'm a bit scared, like, I would love farewelling his part of the board. The problem is that he has exactly the same things as we do, so creatures and artifacts, so it will be hard to get one directional sweeper. Like, we can go Graveyard? I don't know, we will see. We might roll it slower. Sure, bruh. Enjoy your crippling 3 damage. But what is the next play? If he plays a 4-drop, he again missed the Bankbuster. Okay, I see. He really wants to get this farewell, doesn't he? Oh boy. How much do I want to get this card? I kinda like the tokens, they slow the game so much, and with so much card advantage we should win the longer game. Now we need to be aware of Invoke Despair, so we will sacrifice one of the new tokens, Wedding Announcement, and he will draw 1 card. And our tokens are smaller, but in response we can start crewing Bankbusters, so he cannot really attack. I kinda like the situation, to be fair. And let's not forget, they sometimes might whiff on the Despair, and then they don't really have anything. Like when we draw 2 cards from each Bankbuster, then I will start thinking. This is unfortunate, of course, but you know, it's Trespasser. And I don't want to main phase Infernal Grasp. Worst case, we just get rid of it. We also have Trespassers. Okay, that's interesting decision. He wants to trade. This would suggest cut down, so he wants double block here. However, we are not an amateur, so we'll do it like this. Now you need to remove 2 of them, if you want, and he cannot trade better than 2 for 1. Ah, bro? You need to be smarter to outsmart us. You need another one. And then we just Infernal Grasp the Glutton, which is pretty amazing. Sure, enjoy. He thought he had us, but in reality it was us who had him. And with double Bankbuster we will hit land, so Farewell is definitely way more important. And that was basically his whole turn. He didn't even draw cards with Bankbuster so far. Enjoy your 3 damage. Like, we're at 12, so we need to be a bit more careful now, but like, he needs to full Invoke the Spells to kill us. I will go with this one, because I want to make sure that we can enable the 4/4 creature whenever we want. Oh, and he switched to daytime, that's sweet. That's pretty good for us. So I think it's Sorin. Just because the vampire is so strong, it's not a cut down target, and even though this dies to Despair, like, we make sure that Despair is worse and worse every single turn, and we can start raffining towers from the next turn. We could crew the Bankbuster, but I think we are the control deck here. Our opponent will reload, so this will be a little bit one of the last scary turns from our opponent, but he's losing momentum with every single turn, and we still have the Farewell as the ultimate answer to everything, so this makes Sorin a bit more valuable, and here it is. Cool. So, creature, enchantment and Planewalker. Of course it sucks, but when he doesn't draw cards, it's not as huge pain, you know? Okay, if he crews, that means he doesn't draw anything. Okay, so we need to plan the next turn. I would prefer to draw, I think. So he just wants to go super aggressive. There's also a chance that we draw from the Bankbusters and then Farewell everything, and we have 4 cards on top of opponent, which is also pretty good. I think we take this one. Even if he has removal, we gladly take it for a card, you know? And this is a pretty decent draw. Pretty decent. Man, I want to draw my cards so much. Casting Liesa is also pretty strong. It won't save any creatures, of course, but lifelink is strong enough. And our opponent cannot invoke Despair. He also seems to have no priority. You have no power here. So we attack just to get lifelink, because there is a chance our opponent might not attack into this. Maybe I should have burned the treasure just to get a creature. Sheoldred. Okay, I see. I see how it is. However, we can still gain HP. We actually do every turn, and the more he commits, I will make a stop. I don't think I will use it. There's not really point. And he didn't attack, right? So, yeah, I don't think there's anything we want to do at instant speed. With lifelink, we don't care as much as usually. We could, of course, sweep the board, but I don't want to lose my stuff. I don't want to lose my stuff. Yeah, I think Sorin is good enough. So, what we are doing here is attack with this. They both have flying, and our opponent soon will have to start respecting the damage. He has a moment before it happens, but we can start drawing in the meantime. And we can even crew the Bankbuster in the same turn. So I don't super care about card advantage, that's why I'm a bit wasteful with Sorin. Because after this we have 2/2 and our cards are way better most likely. Sure. He's slowly out of value from the Bankbuster. He will heal a little bit, but he cannot out-heal 6 damage a turn. Even with good draws. And we can always ramp it to 8 or even more with the Bankbusters very quickly. We can even do a smart trick with activating double Bankbuster on the same turn. Okay, so he wants to go extremely aggressive and to draw a card. That's interesting. I wonder how he will play. Let's see the attacks. We might even just go and kill Sheoldred at the cost of 1 Bankbuster. That's an interesting idea. So this is gone. We can attack for quite a lot next turn if we care. I don't think we're farewelling. We're fighting for this board for a little longer. I think it's a good call. Sure. As you can see, Sorin is taking a lot of attention here. Okay, this one is a bit more risky. Okay, and now the idea. Do we kill Sheoldred? This is risky. He might have something. Also, we don't defend Sorin anyway, so all we need to care about is good trades. 2 for 1 is risky. How does it work? Another non-token creature you control dies. Yeah, that's a non-token creature. So that's actually a pretty free trade. Maybe he even overextended, and when he kills it, we get the Bankbuster back, which is even better, because when we farewell, we can play it after and refill easier. So it actually might be good for us. And he needs to kill both. He doesn't have a choice. Like, I guess he can skip this one, if anything. Yep. I think the interaction is as I think. Yeah, we'll get it back. That's so weird. Like, Bankbuster is not a creature, but it is a creature. It's so weird. Evolve Sweeper. Like, when he casts everything from his hand and he stops decking, we probably do farewell, but until then we can, you know, continue with the play. With Liesa, like, we have options and he doesn't really. What more, if he wants to attack, we can always sacrifice this Bankbuster and it comes back into play with even more counters, so it's actually infinite engine. And we have lifelink, so we don't care too much. Like, yeah, seems pretty good to me. He cannot even evolve Sleeper, not to confuse with Sweeper, and he cannot buff it enough to crew the Bankbuster. Like, he could make a token, but that's it. In response, he will use the Sheoldred, right? I think we're actually fighting for this board. Our opponent has no answer to Liesa, and we can start grinding value. Farewells are like last case emergency in case we are losing, and so far we are at 20. Man, if we win this without the main farewell like sweeper card, it's insane. This is how we win the game, but we weren't even forced to. Oh my god, we had 2 farewells for the full game and we didn't even need to use them because our deck outvalued him even without them. That's insane. Oh boy, are you excited for this draw? Because I definitely am. So we are preparing with Cut Down just to keep the board clear, but yeah, usually it's not needed. Then we go into the offensive with the Bankbuster. This is a bit scary because if we play Liliana, he might have a 2-drop, which is very often the case, but if he doesn't, oh boy, you are in for some trouble. So what do we do? Do we start with Liliana plussing? That's an interesting choice. We are generally at a disadvantage, in like card-wise. What is the next play he will do? I don't want to get rid of Tenacious Underdog, it might be Trespasser. I honestly don't know what to do. I honestly have no idea. We might hit Infernal Grasp. And I'm not activating it. I don't want to get remover. And he definitely has something. Like Tenacious Underdog is, yeah, exactly. You see, we would lose 3 cards if we went for it. And that's not a good idea. And this is why we played like this. If he had tapped mana for some reason, we would definitely play differently. Okay, okay, I see. I see how it is. Let's pay some HP to get tempo advantage. You always love to see it. Do we go for the underdog? Or we just chill with some cards? We should... I think we should start pressuring our opponent. I think it's good. Can we... No, we have to pay some life. Okay, so it's not perfect, but I think we get a lot of value sooner or later with this play. And we can, like, 4 is enough for us, so we can discard one of the cards quite easily. And we then start redrawing with Bankbuster and Underdog. Even land will hurt them a little bit. Don't forget they get the cycling, so every card... Oh my god, he had 3 lands. And we'll just keep discarding, like, he cycles with Fable, so every card is basically, you know... 1 card less is 1 card less. We definitely don't plus her again, unless we get a bad draw. 4 mana is all we need for now. I guess for Despair we might think about more. And next turn we go into the territory of Kiki-Jiki, so we need 2 mana for the removal. Let's start like this. We don't activate the Bankbuster, it's way too valuable. And we play this land, because we are the owner of Liliana. When we play Infernal Grasp, of course, we start plussing. Maybe that was also the alternate style, so maybe we should go into 0 cards as soon as possible, and then start plussing, just to get rid of his cards. Maybe I need to learn this style, but that's usually not how I play. You know me. I'm the value mage. Do you want to go for the... Oh yes, enjoy! Wasted chapter. You'll have to see... Oh, the pain and the pleasure. So do we want to get extra card? Yeah? Like it's basically -2 loyalty, draw a card for free. I love to see it. And like I think cruelty is good enough that we want to get rid of it as soon as possible, and the fact that we keep getting cards is pretty insane. And yes, Raffine Tower is definitely needed. Like, look at this. Like, we're already winning in the card value game, and we didn't even start. And right now Liliana is a real threat, so I'm not surprised he goes to kill her. Our opponent is at 2 cards. Cut down? Pretty sweet. Pretty darn sweet. We can go both ways. We can go Underdog and crew the Bankbuster, but it's not a fixed value, you know? I would prefer some options, so that's why we will go for the Emperor. Like, this is good, but you pay for mana to gain nothing permanent. Oh, and he had a lot of removal, so he would just cut down. So we didn't really lose a lot. Sure? And now with the Emperor, even if he removes her, that's completely fine. A Bankbuster is like our emergency, so we will have more cards than the opponent, even without the Underdog. He will probably kill the Emperor, and that's fine. He has only 3 cards. Every card hurts him more than us. Oh, that's interesting. He just discarded Midhook Massacre. It means that he decided he doesn't need them. What was the play pattern so far? Yeah, maximum 1 creature. So he might have decided that he doesn't need it. He might have removal, so he's waiting for us to plus the Samurai. But we won't give him this. We definitely won't. Let's go a bit more aggressive. We have Infernal Grasp, we have 12 HP. That's good enough. And we ain't activating the Bankbuster. I know it's tempting, but I don't think like we're pressuring him, but I don't go all in. Because like his deck is hugely in like big part of his deck is removal, as you can see. So if we go all in, we can just get wrecked very easily. And we can keep drawing cards at the end step, which is important. What will he get? What is his best card? Oh, the nothing, the famous nothing. So he's so desperate that he's actually hoping he will draw something. Oh my god, that's really bad. If that's his game plan, like, we love to see it. I will draw my card just to because this is tapped. Yeah, so he was really out of... Man, we absolutely crushed everyone with this deck. Man, this is one of the best Orzhov's decks we have tried so far. Okay, so when you are going second but you see the cut down, it's way better. If opponent doesn't have perfect start with 1, 2, 3, like you are really ahead, but so far our opponent seems to have perfect start, so then Tenacious Underdog and Trespasser. Oh my god, he actually hit everything. Wow. Okay, let's do it like this. Sleeper is of course an issue, but we have Emperor, so this will be removed in time, I think. So that's why I'm not super scared, but the fact that we are on the draw against extremely perfect curve is definitely a big issue. And I will also make a stop here. Then I make stop here and stop here. To end. And we will make stop here. It's a bit of tryharding, but when you have Sleeper and you see your opponent doesn't have a removal, you play differently. I need to learn which phases you need to click to exactly mimic, like having an instant removal. Okay, I think the last one is not needed. Oh, so he didn't do anything, that's interesting. That's actually interesting. So, we have Trespasser, he wants to go for 1 and 2, and he can start drawing cards from the next turn. Next turn he can... Okay, so that's an interesting situation. I think Liliana is the best play. Because we get rid of this, he cannot react because he's black. He can use a Tenacious Underdog next turn to get rid of Liliana, but this doesn't really bring him the value. And I think he might feel compelled to do it. Then we go with the Trespasser, or even the Emperor. The fact that he basically banked this whole play, and yeah, he wasted 3 mana, he did nothing that turn, and he indeed went for this. I really like it, I think our situation is good, especially that being on the draw means we have card advantage, so even with this card, he's still behind. And when we answer it with the Trespasser, oh boy. And then wedding announcements come. So, definitely, now the initiative is on our side, but we got a bit mana screwed, so that's a big problem. Let's see how much we get mana screwed. So far, royally. So far, royally. We need to go into the future. Like, we definitely need to build up, because right now our turn sucks without the mana. Like, we have all the answers, but we cannot play them, because, like, we are not drawing half of our deck. So we definitely need to endure until we finally get there. Yeah, we definitely need to value our life until we get rid of Sheoldred with Emperor, which could be done by simple land draw from the top. But I assume we won't get it. Okay, we got it. I knew it, okay? I knew it. I think it's so important that we actually go for the Sheoldred right now. It also prevents his life gain a bit. Yeah, that's damage I will accept. It's just way too important. He might have another one, and that will hurt. And like, we can protect Emperor and still be aggressive, but I think with double wedding announcement we overpower him. The only thing we need to be careful is Midhook Massacre. Like, usually I don't remember how many you play. Either like 2 or 3, I think. Okay, and that's my point. If he wants to attack and trade, we are fine. Like, this is okay, because we are left with the Emperor. What? Now? Man, so he basically wasted this attack just to hope that we'll make a mistake. He gained nothing. He could cast it before attacks and he would gain a free Planewalker. This is a really bad play in my opinion. It's never worth it to play like this. You lose way too much. And what more? How many Trespassers he will have? Oh, Junji. That's interesting. Like, we can just play this and Underdog. What is the best play he can make? Midhook Massacre for 3, which would clear everything. Not really. Underdog might have more toughness, so I think this is the correct play. I really don't want to waste Underdog, so we will play like this. This is 3 toughness and this will be 4 toughness. Do we want to attack? Definitely not yet. I want a lot of tokens, I want the tokens to be huge, and right now Invoke Despair is not as great as he wants it to be. Even if he has perfect draw, after perfect start. Man, like this, being on the play 1, 2, into Sheoldred, it's so good, but it might still not be enough. Okay, so what is the plan? Midhook Massacre? Bro, show me what you got. I know you expected different, but that's what you get? Now Midhook Massacre sucks? Did we outplay him? I think he might have Midhook Massacre, hope for this block, and then Midhook Massacre everything. Now he's like, oh my god, what do I do? That's what it seems. It doesn't seem that what's going on right now is planned because he has zero idea what to do. Okay, sure. I like Anthem, but I like full value more than this. No cards for you, bro. Oh, that's a bad draw. This is a very bad draw. You know what you do with the bad draws? You just smork your enemy and draw more cards. We can use it to cast Farewell once, but like, deck, please. If we keep drawing cards for like next 2-3 draws, we are... See? I told you, he had it. Oh boy. This actually is helping us so much. Oh man, that's so good. We cannot cast both though. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior? Wedding announcements. You want to cast more, bro? Invoke Despair is not great. Like, he's basically drawing 1 card, and that's his best card in the deck, basically. Cut down? Sure. Like, you are just waiting until he's out of those options in the hand. Man, he's having god draw. If we are winning this, like, I'm speechless about how good this deck is. Like, it's basically the best he can draw, and he's still losing so hard. Alright, so... yeah, I like my enchantments. I will go with the Edgar. We can even activate Eiganjo if he has like Tenacious Underdog or whatever. I would love using my Underdog because before it gets trespassed, but it's probably not in my reach to decide for it. Man, look at this freaking draw. He even... I don't know why he has Junji in the graveyard. Did he discard it to... I don't know. To the ward probably, right? Because he made this horrible play. Our opponent, like, if we made mistakes, he would be winning this so hard, but he basically failed all the plays. He tried to bait us into bad block. Look at this guy. Like, he's literally drawing out of his mind. I kinda don't mind Edgar being in the graveyard, you know? Like, this is kinda his job. Edgar, go into graveyard. That's what we pay you for. And on the other side of the board, lands. And more lands, and then some lands. Honestly, at this point I'm thinking about farewelling just to get rid of the Midhook Massacre. We lose the card though. Maybe we can wait one more turn. Like, it really hurts. It really hurts. Like, if opponent keeps top decking best cards from his deck and we keep top decking clans, this will definitely be hard game. I don't even think we have time to cycle, because we probably need to play Farewell and something next turn. Okay, finally we drew the first one of our deck. Okay, that's an answer. That's an answer. If he plays a lot... Okay, Invoke the Spell will answer it.
I take no joy in the slaughter.
Interesting decision. Probably the good one.
Nothing on innocent.
Liliana. Oh, yes, please. Can I discard some stuff?
Distractions.
Oh, he took the other way. Okay. And that's why we really need to care about our HP. It's so great that that's the case. So, first things first. Let's kill the first Planewalker so he cannot sacrifice her. Now, when we play this, how much mana do we have? We can have 3 mana. Yeah, oh no, we will lack black one. We will have double Eiganjo and we also will have to pain ourselves. That's not perfect. I really wanted to discard those cards. But it's probably for the next turn then. If we play Eiganjo, get 1 white mana. Wait, I think like we have Shattered Sanctum, right? And Raffine Tower. So we play the land. No, we still need 4. Okay, so we need 4 black anyway. We might not pain ourselves, but we won't go over this, unfortunately. Cut down is a good draw. I like it. And Edgar, come to the rescue. We need you more than ever. You are the hero we never deserved. 3 Invoke Despairs in top 23 cards. Oh my god, like this draw he had. And if we win this game, after how he started on the play with all the follow-up Despairs, like this deck is a beast. And so far, that seems to be the case. Like if that's his play, that's really bad. And we will discard the last card of him at the cost of small Eiganjo, which we don't even care really. So I'm pretty sure we still win. I cannot believe that we actually win this kind of game. Okay, that's really strong draw. We don't need it anymore, but yeah, that would be better like when we struggled. Right now we don't really care. He might protect Liliana in some way. How much do we care about her? Worst case, we just go for Invoke Despair and he can +1 only, so it's not the big deal. And if he doesn't, we get 3-4 damage, which is the point. Hi, I heard you like Lilianas. So now you are top decking, and I know you are a top deck master, but not such master. Probably Farewell is better, because the game won't go long enough to cast 2 Farewells. And Land might be useful, so objectively that is a mistake, it should be Farewell. But also we show our opponent that we have Farewell, so you know, it's not very big. Oh, he's not happy. He's not happy about drawing 3 Invoke Despairs in the best deck in the meta and still losing game. Well, you need to adjust, bro. You ain't hacked. Like seriously, our opponent seems to be roping because he's mad, but he got on the play 1 drop, 2 drop, 4 drop. He made very bad calls, so he basically played the whole game hoping that we'll make horrible mistakes that have no sense, and we didn't do it. Like we didn't go for the mid-hook bait, and we blocked with the Trespasser. He could remove the Emperor for free. He just went so greedy and he hoped that we'll somehow mess it up. Like that's a very bad decision making. Man, it's so hilarious. He actually roped all the 3 timeouts. And isn't it like ironic that he's basically raging at the card he was using for the full game? After drawing probably the best ever draw that he could have. I honestly think this is one of the best draws you can have. Be on the play, be at tempo disadvantage, and when it comes to form 5 mana, you keep drawing Invoke Despairs. Like this was the best pressure this deck can make. He still lost, he messed everything up, to be honest. Like the plays he did were, especially with the Trespasser, that was a huge mistake. He basically gave us free Emperor for no reason. So, my friend, you need to improve. Deck is not everything.